Fastest way I could, which is
That's not a threat, that's a promise. There's a difference.
For what it's worth. If you are.
Ready to roll.
I'd like to call the city council meeting for June 1st, 2021 to order, please. Roll call.
Tim,
Here.
Amber, here. Jean,
Here.
Larry,
Here.
Arthur,
Here.
Dawn.
Here.
And if we could please stand for pledge allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Moving down to item number number 4, approval of tonight's agenda.
Motion to approve.
I second that.
Motion and second, roll call.
Dawn,
Yes.
Larry,
Yes.
Jean,
Yes.
Tim,
Yes.
Arthur,
Yes.
Amber. Yes.
Number 5, approval of city council meeting from May 4th, 2021, a special city council meeting from May 12th. We accept a motion to approve, please.
Motion to approve. Second.
Roll call.
Arthur,
Yes.
Larry,
Yes.
Jean,
Yes.
Tim,
Yes.
Dawn,
Yes.
Amber. Yes.
Down to item number 6, comments from citizens. If you would like to make a comment, please step to the podium, give us your name, your address, keep it within 3 minutes, please. Thank you, ma'am.
My name is Zeta Greenlee. I live at 748 Javella Road. See, I just wanted to ask all of you to please consider the intended use of development of the villas at Tontitown. This is intended for adults 55 plus, seniors, singles, and couples, a permanent address, not rental property, not skilled care, not nursing home. There are a lot of family housing going up in Tontitown now, but nothing yet intended specifically for seniors. Some of the folks interested in moving to this villa will be empty nesters wanting to downsize. Also seniors wanting to move near family that are moving into new housing here. They want to be able to enjoy an active lifestyle and be able to travel when they want and not be concerned with maintaining yards and homes and such. They will have a clubhouse, activity center in walking distance in a safe, secure neighborhood that will frequent Tontitown local restaurants and businesses and also have easy access to other areas of Northwest Arkansas. This seems to be a good transition between the reserve to the north and the residential to the south. So I really feel that something of this type housing is needed, and if provided, can only be good for all of Tontitown. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Anybody else? Seeing none, James, do we have anybody online?
No, sir.
Thank you. Moving down to item 7, this is approval of city council members to waive the 3 reading rule for all ordinances on the agenda this evening.
Motion to approve. Second.
Call, please.
Tim,
Yes.
Amber,
Yes.
Jean,
Yes.
Larry,
Yes.
Arthur,
Yes.
Dawn.
Yes.
Moving down to item 8A, this is approval of a resolution authorizing the purchase of backhoe for Public Works Department. Council, we brought this forward to you last month. It was passed up and moved to our CAL meeting for discussion. At the last CAL meeting, you unanimously agreed to push it forward to tonight's city council meeting. So with that in mind, I accept a motion to approve.
Motion approved.
I'll second that. Got a motion and a second. Any discussion?
On our on our old backhoe, I did some footwork on that. And with the amount that they offered for trade-in, I think it's only in our best interest to keep that. I know it does need some minor repairs, but I know we've had instances just in the past couple of weeks where we needed one on each end of town. So I think it would probably be in our best interest to keep that old backhoe along with purchasing this new one.
Duly noted. Anybody else? Roll call, please.
Tim,
Yes.
Amber,
Yes.
Jean,
Yes.
Larry,
Yes.
Arthur,
Yes.
Dawn.
Yes.
Moving down to new business. This is 9A. This is discussion of changing meeting date from in July. I guess, what was the date on it? 6th to Thursday, July 1st. Apparently because of the holidays. I'm assuming this is Mr. McCartney's topic. So lead us off, Gene.
With July 4th being on a Monday, I know there's going to be several out of town, and just to make this easier on council and hopefully easier on some of the citizens to be able to attend, I think it would probably be best if we actually move that forward the week before, and we could do either the Tuesday or Thursday previous to that.
We got planning commission, I think, on that Tuesday.
That'd be the last Tuesday of the month.
So it would have to be the Thursday, okay?
Either the 8th or the 13th.
The 8th, I believe. So if council agrees, we can move that forward to avoid the holiday timeframe.
Does July 1 not work for you?
No.
He's at the rodeo. I'm teasing.
Mutton busting. Any comments back on that from council? I'd like to get some feedback if there's only one of us that's going to be absent during that time, then we could continue on. But if there's others that are going to be out of town or busy that week, this would be an opportunity for us to push it forward just a little bit.
The 8th works for me.
Got the 8th on this end. Larry?
As of right now, I'm open to whatever, as far as I know.
Arthur?
You talking about July the 1st then?
July the 8th. 8th.
July the 8th. That's good.
Tim?
Wouldn't be the same without Gene. I'm in.
Yeah, I can do that.
So your motion is,
Let me look at those dates one more time. Give me just a moment.
Wait a
Because
minute.
this is actually going to be June. This is going to be June. I think you had the wrong.
July 8th is the
July 8th
Thursday.
is up.
So July 4th holiday is observed on the 5th.
So are you talking? the
So
first
yes, if
Tuesday?
we go to the 1st, that would be the 1st. I had the wrong date there, sorry. So that would be the 1st. If you could give me some feedback on that, gentlemen, councilman.
Thursday?
no,
That would be
no,
Thursday, the
July 8th.
So
1st.
you're okay with Thursday the 1st?
Yes,
Sure.
sorry, I had the wrong date written
I
down.
would-
You're positive.
I would prefer the 1st, but make sure you got your date because I want to make.
Okay, I'm
sure
gonna
I
start
got it.
over. Don,
Yes.
Tim,
Absolutely.
you're out, Gene.
Numero uno?
Uno.
Yes.
See.
Yes, yeah, versus 5.
Larry,
Okay. I have it
okay,
down.
make your motion.
Motion to move our meeting to the 1st.
Second that.
Roll call, please.
Dawn,
Before they can change their mind.
Larry,
Yes.
Jean,
Yes.
Tim,
Yes.
Arthur,
Yes.
Amber.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Let's see, moving down to 9B, this is Mr. Eichmann's turn. If you want to jump up, sir.
Good evening, council. We have, first up is ordinance for accepting of dedication of plats and minor subdivisions. We have an ordinance accepting the final plats of HPAC 2020 minor subdivision Wildcat Farms, Wildcat Creek Farms LLC, parcel number 830-37891-000, Penalto Trust minor subdivision, Paul Colvin replat of Albert R. Piazza minor subdivision, Kristen McLeod, parcel numbers 830-37692-280 and 830-37692-300. The Henry West Duggar incidental subdivision, Arbor Acres in South Barrington, Bixler Lyman incidental subdivision.
And council, I'd accept a motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
Thank you.
Second it.
Thank you. Roll, whoops, discussion.
Mr. Clark. Can you explain some of these, where they're at?
Actually, I'm not familiar with any of them except the Colvin in the middle is down on Piazza.
Fixer alignment.
I think the Wildcat Creek is over by the landfill, I believe.
Do what?
I said, I think the Wildcat Creek Farms is over by the landfill
There's several parcels
over there.
for Wildcat Creek. I'm not sure which one that is.
Parcel trust minor subdivision.
If you'd like, I could have Anthony call you tomorrow. Because I'm not familiar with enough of them to tell you which ones are what, except for the one in the middle.
Caught us off guard there, Art.
Yep.
Okay, everybody else good with it? I guess so.
I'm sorry, Alderman Penzo.
Anybody else? Roll call, please.
Larry,
Yes.
Jean,
Yes.
Arthur,
Yes.
Tim,
I need to abstain.
Don,
Yes.
Amber.
Yes.
9C, Mr. Eichmann, is this yours too? Yes, it is. You're up.
Council, if you recall, we did a code change a few months ago to require that conditional uses go through a slightly different process. And that process is now that there's a planning commission review, and the planning commission review can recommend to the city council for approval. And that's what's happened in this case. So before you have a conditional use request, I'm familiar with it because I've read through the request that's before you. But I do understand that this was heard before Planning Commission, and quite a bit of discussion that went into that, and that their vote was to recommend to the council for approval. So now it comes before the council. A couple things to keep in mind about conditional uses. It's in your zoning ordinance. It's a form of zoning. It's discretionary to the city. There is zoning criteria that's in your code, and that the report that you have that's in your packet goes through. I think there's 7 different items that are in 153, 121 as to the criteria that you use when evaluating a conditional use request. Down one further at 151, 122C, it mentions approval and denial. And one thing to keep in mind is that should this be denied, we are required to provide the applicant within 10 days a notice in writing with the reasons why. So as we discuss, I may pop up and seek to clarify that if that's where it's going. We would need to know that in order to provide the applicant with those reasons. Yes, sir.
Quick question, since it's a conditional use, it's my understanding that this conditional use permit is for 55 and older community.
Yes.
So let's say 10 years down the road, they can't get everything sold or whatever they're doing, and they decide to lower the age limit. Then what?
My understanding from reading the report is that the conditional use is for the duplexes and quadplexes. There's other conditions that are at the very end of the report. It's got 7 or 8 different conditions of approval that are there. I think James is scrolling down to it. If the applicant couldn't meet one of those conditions of approval, it'd be up to the applicant to come back to the city council and really through the whole planning process and require that that be reheard. So it would come back to the city if one of the conditions of approval could not be.
Well, what I'm saying is, let's say they don't come back to the city, they take it upon themselves because everybody deals with greed on a daily basis.
Right.
And they decide that they want to lower the age limit because they're not getting them sold. And the city has ears, obviously. And then we find out that they've done this. What recourse does the city have?
We find out they're violating a condition of approval. It'd be like if you had somebody who was operating, a tire business out of a home, say. You have zoning within your zoning code. You have authority to take action against somebody who's in violation. You can issue them tickets. You can seek restraining orders. You can shut the business down. So you have those authorities that are there. Occasionally, that's been an issue that's popped up where you have, a conditional use where somebody is violating the terms. Usually, it's something having to do with the hours of operation or something like that, and it becomes a code enforcement issue. But the city can take action if there is a violation of the conditional use. They can withdraw the conditional use authorization and kind of bring it back before city council to have them approved for reoperation should they have their permit pulled. So there's a number of different remedies that the city has under conditional use. Does that answer the
Yes,
question
sir.
here?
Thank you.
Who asked for this request to happen or the change of this to happen? Who requested this conditional use permit?
Don, I've seen the name of the applicant.
Norse Development.
Norris Development.
I'm sorry.
Do they not have to be the owner of the property?
Oh, I see what you're saying. So who is the person that can rightfully request the conditional use?
Well, who asked for this one?
I don't know. I haven't been involved in the planning of it, but it can be the owner. It can be a representative, authorized representative of the owner. So it could be the developer, it could be a real estate agent. It's the shorthand for that is either the owner or the authorized representative.
From what I'm seeing here, it looks to me like the people that own it are kind of being held hostage. If they don't get this all-in deal, the developer's not going to buy it. I would think the developer would have to buy it and then ask for the conditional use permit.
It's pretty common that you have real estate contracts that have contingencies on getting either zoning approval or building permit approval before closing. That is sometimes a condition that the purchaser will put on to doing that. They do that to protect their investment. I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but that's a fairly common thing that you see.
So these villas are going to be for purchase, these townhomes and duplexes.
I mean,
Is
it's
that
my
right?
understanding. I think that some is for sale and some not, is the way I understand it. Is the developer anybody here? Representative? Could you mind coming up, please? I know we haven't made a motion or anything to vote, and we're kind of out of order as far as discussions on it, but thank you, sir. State your name if you don't mind.
My name's Dylan Bentley with Engineering Services. I'm here on behalf of the developer.
Okay.
So it's my understanding that these are all for purchase as well.
Okay.
Yes,
So
sir.
my mistake. I apologize.
No, that's fine.
So there's really nothing to keep them from if they can't sell them to just turn them into rentals, right?
Well, the conditional use permit that he laid out, there are conditions of approval here that are set forth for this conditional use permit.
But it doesn't say in here rental versus for purchase, right? So that's not one of the conditions.
That verbiage I do not believe is in there.
Okay. So that in and of itself is not a condition of the
That is
conditional use.
not a condition
Okay.
set forth in this conditional use permit.
Okay. Yeah.
I make a motion, we table this so we can talk about it at the COW. I think stuff like this should go to our COW first. We should not get stuff, the first time we see stuff should not be a voting on it.
Mr. Eichmann.
I'm sorry. Leslie, now that's rather important too about the conditions. Both the planning commission and the city council are allowed to impose conditions that they see fit. That's part of the conditional use process. So what you have before you are recommended conditions. I just want to make sure I added that part.
Okay. And Mr. Downey, you had a comment, sir?
I make a motion that we table this until our COW, and so we can look to see if we want to add any other stipulations but I feel we're getting stuff in the wrong order. I don't think we should ever get anything that we don't get to talk about and have to vote on.
Well, and unfortunately, the way we have structured, and you guys set this up, the way you've structured your planning meetings in order of how your council meetings fall, that's why this stuff does come this way. Now, if you'd like to change the order of your council meetings or your planning commission meetings, then you wouldn't. I mean, for the last 6.5 years, this is how it's been done. Whether it's right or wrong or indifferent, but that's just how it has been done.
When did the planning commission get this last Tuesday? I mean, I know that they voted on it last Tuesday. Is that the first time they saw that? I mean, do they get it and they vote or don't vote, or they can't table, can they?
They could.
Could they?
Yeah, they can.
It was the first time you saw it. Okay. Josh, you're saying
The
something?
the meeting was right before the public hearing was right before the planning meeting.
Right.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Well, I'm always for knowing as much as we can, so I'd second that motion. But is that something we need to discuss, or do we just vote on whether or not we table it?
If you make a motion and you second, then I have to call roll.
There you go.
I believe is how the order goes. Okay. So we have a motion and a second. I'll offer discussion. Amber? Roll call.
Tim,
Yes.
Amber,
Yes.
Jean,
Yes.
Larry,
Yes.
Arthur,
No.
Don.
Yes,
So carried over to the Cal meeting.
yes.
Got it. Moving down to item number 9D. Mr. Agman.
That Cal meeting is the 15th.
Council, this is an ordinance, this is amending a prior ordinance to approve the drainage criteria manual revisions. It is City of Tontitown, Washington County, Arkansas, an ordinance amending ordinance number 2019-06-847 and approving and adopting by reference an amended Tontitown, Arkansas drainage criteria manual for the City of Tontitown.
And council, before you, in front of you, is the drainage manual. And keep in mind, this is the first time you've seen it, heard about it tonight.
I'd like for it to be read to us if you could, Mayor.
3 times.
Okay, okay. Mr. Eichmann, if you don't mind taking Amber out back and beating her with a stick.
That's recorded, right? That thread is recorded.
I think our
Yes.
back is to the
Yes.
road. It's a lot of public.
Yes, I've
eyeballs.
duly noted. I've ordered Mr. Eichmann to beat Amber with a stick. Motion to approve.
Motion approved.
I second that.
Thank you. Discussion.
I just didn't want to beat him.
Okay, so
You
So
don't want
I-
a beating?
I appreciate the eagerness, but I would actually read it. I know it would take me several nights to do it, but I would read it. And I feel a little hesitant voting for something that I haven't read, but I also don't want to be a wet blanket. So is this our one and only chance to roll with that?
You can vote no if you like, sir. And to give you an idea, this is what we use to give other engineers when they're looking to develop in the town guidance to go by, is our drainage.
And
manual to
who,
work with.
is this something that James put together? Is it-
No, he did not. Garver Engineering did.
Okay. Yeah, so I don't know a whole lot about that. It would take a while for me to.
Are
get
you
there.
sure?
I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Anybody else? Roll call, please.
Tim,
No.
Amber,
Yes.
Jean,
Yes.
Larry,
Yes.
Arthur,
Yes.
Don.
Yes.
And let's see, is there emergency clause with that? Did we know?
I'd say
Okay, good.
yes.
And item E, approval of a resolution adopting a local roadway typical street section. I'm gonna throw this to James. You're welcome, sir.
The change on this is, if I zoom in here a little bit, you can see the local roadway section in the original master street plan showed 23-foot back of curb. This is an update to that to show 29 feet back of curb, actually large enough for emergency vehicles and everyone that needs to travel on that road. Otherwise, it's the same as our local road section in the original master street plan. 5-foot green space, 5-foot sidewalk, only it's 29-foot back of curb to still total 50-foot right of way.
I believe it's 23 is what we had in our.
It was,
original,
yes,
Right.
What is Westbrook?
about 30.
30, that's the street. Is that
Back
include
of
the green
curb, yes.
space and sidewalk?
These
too?
are big.
No, that's
wide
just back.
Just your
curb.
back of curb.
Oh, okay.
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
Thank you.
Second it.
Got a motion and a second discussion. Going once, twice. Roll call, please.
Don,
Yes.
Arthur,
Yes.
Larry,
Yes.
Jean,
Yes.
Amber,
Yes.
Tim.
Yes.
Moving down, 9F, discussion of job descriptions and salary ranges for city employees. Mr. Burris.
Thank you. So as the mayor has said and pointed out rightly, we are a first-class city, and as a first-class city, we have first-class problems. And so in order to get ahead of some of that, I know that we talk about salaries when it pertains to our budgeting, especially toward the end of the year. And I want to get as ahead of that as we possibly can. And one of the ways that we can do that is by looking at job descriptions and what those job descriptions are, what the salary ranges are within those jobs, et cetera. Luckily, the Municipal League has a lot of information on that we can use as templates. And of course, we can do our own thing with it. But I just wanted to get that ball rolling so that before we have twice as many employees, 3 times as many employees, that we can cover that. And when I talk about that, I mean even things like we've got a part-time guy who cuts the grass over at the park in the summertime. So we have very clearly defined ideas. In the midst of that, we can know what those are. So I don't necessarily have anything to bring up tonight, but I want you guys to start thinking through how
So
do
would
we
you
go
like-
about that? and
Would you
looking at
like to
that.
table this to Cal?
I would, that we can table that to Cal. Would you, I make a motion to table that to Cal? Would anybody like to second that?
Second.
Thank you.
I have motion and 2 seconds, so discussion.
There you go. So as we talk about those job descriptions and we look more into those, I just want you guys to sort of be more aware of that. The second part of this, which I didn't want to send to table there, is that salary range piece. Just as we look at salary ranges, various things, I'd asked Justin last week, just on Friday, he was kind enough to get it to me, even over a long weekend, he got it to me today, on an idea of some verbiage. I understand it was a rush job and there's some verbiage there that we'd want to change as well. But again, just to kind of get that out there so we could talk about that, I'd like to table that to Cal as well. I know we just tabled that piece, so I guess we're good. Is that right?
Yes, before they vote on it, one thing I like the council to kind of keep in mind is, yes, we are a first-class city, but no, we're not first-class staffing. And that a lot of our people wear a multitude of hats. So to give somebody a job description, it's hard to nail each and every person down, with the exception of a handful of them that have specific jobs. So I would like the council to kind of keep in mind that when you're looking at a description or even salary ranges, and this is something I always get into it with Pat every year because he always defines that he is this, this, and this, and this. And if he adds Municipal League's book up, he should be making $175,000 a year.
I think I agree with Pat.
Oh, yeah, I like the way he thinks. So I guess what I'm saying is I wish that we could be more defined in our roles. But, when you have staffing that takes care of, like today, the girl that works in our water office is out for 2 weeks vacation. So, i.e. somebody has to pick up the job and go run the water office and plus do their job. So, and then somebody may call in sick, and now we got another person that has to fill in another role. So, just be cognizant of all the employees. I mean, even James, he's a department head, but he works in a multitude of different ways, from water to streets to parks to you name it. If you look at Municipal League's handbook, I can't find a single definition that fits but one person really, and that's our chief of police. So even their descriptions and they send out a salary study every year, and we always fill it out and turn it in. But even their salary study that they send us isn't quite what our people do, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
Anyway, I just say that to tell you guys to kind of keep your minds a little bit open. Maybe sit and talk to the staff just a little bit and ask them, what do you do? What is your day today? What do you do tomorrow? So that way you'll have a better understanding of what each and every one of them do, because they manage quite a bit for such a small staff. Anyway.
Well, what I suspect we'll find, and I agree with you there, is that some of these folks aren't making enough money.
I don't want to say that out loud.
Okay. Well, that's what I suspect. And I want to make sure that salary ranges are commensurate with what they're doing.
Gotcha. Roll call, please.
Don,
Yes.
Larry,
Yes.
Gene,
Yes.
Tim,
Yes.
Arthur,
Yes.
Amber.
Yes.
Item G, discussion of city personnel handbook. Mr. Burris.
Yes. I'd also like to table this. I'd like to make a motion to table this to the cow as well.
Second it.
Before we vote on this, I would recommend that you table it even further. And the only reason why I asked to do that is the last time we did changes to the city personnel handbook, I believe was July of 2020. And the reason for those changes were because of changes that state legislator had came up with in 2019. The state is currently fixing to approve all the changes to be made in this upcoming round in August. So, and you probably asked Mr. Eichmann more about it, but man, we spent 2 days going over the handbook with the changes that the state was forcing us to make the last time. And I'm assuming that there's 2 days worth again that we're probably going to have to go
I
over.
assume that's part of it. We just don't know yet. There's thousands of bills that are passed, and most of those go into effect and begin at the very end of July. I don't have a handle yet on which ones of those all pertain in effect personnel matters. But what happens is that in a couple of weeks, so the league is going to have kind of an informational packet that goes out, and so we can start reading them, and then we start looking at what issues those kick up, and then I would think probably by this fall would have a pretty good idea of the changes that we would need to implement to bring it compliant with state statute. So I would expect by even doing nothing by this fall, we would need to do a revision to the handbook.
So I would ask that you amend your motion to maybe the Cal August.
No, I don't. I only want to table it to cow, and I'll tell you why. There are some things in our previous handbooks that that maybe got changed. I didn't mean to, but our current personnel handbook is actually dated March of this year, not
No,
July of last year. I just got one recently.
You got a copy? Or, yeah.
So I think maybe one accidentally got through.
Most recent.
What's that dated?
It was July.
Okay, I have one. I didn't bring it with me, but I've got one that was dated March 27 of this year.
The most
So-
recent one that I'm aware of is July of 2020, and that's the one that we were just talking about.
That's fine. I'm not sure how I got one that was voted different, but I think it's not a one and done deal. I don't think this is cow and then we vote on it next month.
No, I
I think
it's
we
gonna
get started
take-
on it as early as we
It's going to
can.
take several opportunities to look at. That's what I'm saying.
Right, I agree wholeheartedly. But I think instead of tabling it down the road, let's get started on it as early as we can. If we could all get copies of recent handbooks and read through them and see, I'm certain that we all have ideas that things that maybe should be there, things that should not be there. And I know we have to take into account what Dennis
creating a
believes
book
doing
and
as well.
then you want to hurry up and vote on it pretty quick to get your changes made.
Nope.
Whenever I think we need to have other changes made by the state
I
before we
agree. And I know those usually
pay
happen. in the-
legal aid to go
Yeah.
through the whole thing.
And I know those usually happen in the summer, and I think this would indicate that's probably true if this was July of last year.
Mhm.
So, I mean, we're in May. We got a couple months before that would happen, but I know some of those things are coming down as well.
Mhm.
So I hear you, I understand it, but I'd rather table it to Cal just so that we start that ball rolling.
Okay, fair enough. Any further discussion?
Thank you, Justin. Thank you, Mayor.
Roll call.
Arthur,
Yes.
Larry,
Yes.
Jean,
Yes.
Tim,
Yes.
Don,
Yes.
Amber.
Yes.
Moving down to item number 10, comments from Alderman. I'm going to start, eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Mr. Downer.
I'm good tonight. No comment. Thank you.
Mr. Burris.
I would like to thank Ms. Greenlee and for Dylan for speaking, for being here. I also noticed we've got two members of the Planning Commission that have joined us tonight, Josh Crane and Penny Baskin. Thank you for being here as well. And for the rest of you, appreciate you being here.
You forgot Kevin. You leaving
Oh,
Kevin out?
Kevin, you're wearing a hat.
Yeah.
You never wear hats.
He didn't have his mask on.
I'm sorry. Kevin Bortz is here too. Thanks, Kevin.
Mr. McCartney.
Same as Mr. Burris. Appreciate everyone here, and that's all I have tonight.
Mr. Penzo.
No comments.
Ms. Ibarra.
No comments.
Larry.
Well, I'm going to ruin everybody's parade.
He's going to rain on it.
A couple things. First off and foremost, yesterday was a day where we honor the people that gave the ultimate. So I've got a friend, laying down there in the cemetery due to that. So I just want to thank everybody for that. Officers, firemen, for what you do. And then the other thing, and I know that we've had, as somebody put on there, whoever prayed for rain, please pray for me. But we've had a whole lot of rain, but out driving around, looking around, we're getting a lot of tracking. And I know it's terrible, but we shouldn't have to deal with the mud, and whether it be come from the landfill or the additions that are going in. I think maybe that need to be a little more aware, if they wouldn't mind too much. And that's about all I've got now.
You sure?
Well, for today.
Okay. Moving down to mayor's comments. I have none. City attorney? None. Motion to adjourn. I'm waiting.
Motion to adjourn.
Thank you.
I'll
Second.
that.
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Oh, gee, man.
6:30.
Hey, Larry,
Sir.
you mentioned